All right, this is Lynn with Lynns Hangouts, and I have arranged to meet in a rather unusual place to grab an interview with 220's percussionist, Curtis Blankenship, to get the scoop on past and present happenings. So thanks, Curt, for hanging out with me today.
My pleasure.
Awesome. We're actually at a park, just getting away from the venue thing a little bit, and because we have a rather awesome interview to do, and we wanted to make sure we don't get interrupted.
And it's a gorgeous day.
And it's a beautiful day, absolutely. And beautiful August afternoon.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, all right, let's just start right in. So you received your first drum set in a very unusual way. So please fill us in.
Okay, so my dad, when I was a kid, was pretty reckless.
Oh, okay.
And he bought me, when I was probably 10 years old, this Hodaka motorcycle. And it was either a 200 or 250, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was so large that he would have to start it and then hold it while I climbed on board, and then he'd give me a little shove and I'd ride.
Yeah.
And when I was done, I'd have to park it next to him and he'd grab me, or otherwise I'd fall off.
Yeah,
or
right.
The whole thing would fall over.
That's awesome.
So I guess at one point he said, well, this might not be the best thing for my son. So he recognized that I had enjoyed playing some drums at a friend of mine's house, and he traded my motorcycle for a drum set.
Nice.
So that's how I got my very first drum set.
Smart move, Dad. Thank you.
He hates the fact that I became a musician, but it's all his fault.
It's all his fault.
Yeah.
What can he say? That's very funny. That's great. Well, did you take lessons after acquiring your kit?
Mostly, I just kind of played around with bands. I got my first band together as a freshman in high school, but for 6 months I took lessons with a guy named Mike Lawson at Skips.
Oh, nice.
Great guy, and he showed me some great techniques, and then I ran out of money and time. And just
But you got enough of the basics to go from there.
Yeah, I could hold down a beat, and everybody let all the guitar players do their thing, and that's all that counted.
Yeah,
so.
that's awesome. Didn't look back.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, you were in a few local bands as a teen, as a teenager. So
at 17, I put together a cover band. It was called Stalin. Our bass player at that time is now known as Rikki Staxx.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Rikki, that's Skid Roses.
We go back for many years.
Very cool.
And then after that, that band broke up, and I put together another band, a harder rock band with Brian from Tragically White.
Oh yeah, very
called
cool.
Jacques Mahler. That was a lot of fun. A real metal band.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then after I quit that band and ended up in an original band, and that's how I ended up in LA.
Oh, okay. So that's actually my next question. Please tell us the story how you ended up in LA. But there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah. So there was a local band that was an all-original band. I used to go watch them at the Oasis Ballroom, giving away my age. And they were just amazing. They were called The Features, and their songs were incredible. Everything about them was incredible.
Yeah.
And I used to stand in the audience and think, I want to be in this band so bad.
Aww.
Well, they ended up kind of breaking up. 3 of them went on to form another band, and I knew the bass player, and he said, why don't you come play with us? So I was like, heck yeah, I want to be in this band so bad. And so I joined, and it was just great being all original. And within a couple months, the singer showed up at rehearsal and said, well, guess what, we're all moving to LA. I was like,
no.
Okay.
There was no question.
He just said flat out, we're moving to LA. I was like,
God.
okay, I'll give it a try.
Why not? You're young, free spirit.
Yeah,
I
don't
went. LA, the land of success.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, and actually along that line, you've had some success in the LA scene. Or you had a recording company interest, and you secured a cast member part in a movie.
Yeah, the reason we ended up going to LA is because this guy named Ethan James, who was a producer and had just produced Jane's Addiction's first record, heard our demo, and he wanted to record us. So he got hold of the singer and said, I'll do it for free, just get down here. So we're like, oh, okay, this sounds like an opportunity you can't pass up.
Yeah.
So we moved down, and the recording process, we all had to get jobs. I ended up luckily getting a job at a music management company called Alive Enterprises.
Okay.
And we handled artists like Luther Vandross and Kenny Loggins and Alice Cooper, who I really like a lot.
Yeah.
A bunch of artists. And it was really great. I ended up working in that business for 5 years. And the band that I moved to LA with, Pride and Peril, ended up in the movie called The Doors with Val Kilmer. We didn't make the DVD. We were cut out of the DVD, unfortunately. But they're in the theatrical version, so that's my big claim to fame.
There
I was
you
in
go.
that movie for briefly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. We had young kids living in LA and in movies. And
wow. I just think the really awesome part would be that assistant manager job with all the
It was
the bigwigs.
It was neat. I met stars after stars after stars. But in all honesty, after I'd been in the business 5 years, I started to realize it really is not what I thought it was. It's not the creative, all loving. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of people who will stand on your back to get to the next step, and you got to be brutal to make it in that business.
So that actually is a good realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were talking about giving me some positions of authority within the company, and I started thinking, I'm going to end up being this for the rest of my life if I do this.
Wow.
And so I just kept on thinking, well, what am I going to do? And finally I decided to go back to school. And that worked out well for me.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Now that was back here in Sacramento you went to school.
No, I started off down in LA.
Oh, did you?
I actually went to two different junior colleges down there. Yeah.
Okay, well then when you returned to your hometown of Sacramento, you joined a band that had many successes, such as a song used in a Corona beer commercial and on a radio stations nationwide, as well as toured.
Yeah, that was a surprise, because when I came back, I actually originally thought I'd just quit playing.
Oh, okay, and continue with the school.
Yeah. And I ran into a singer-songwriter that I knew when we were young, and he, at a party, he said, why don't we put together a 4th of July band, just for the 4th of July.
Oh, nice.
I thought, okay, that sounds fun. And we did it, and I realized, oh my gosh, I really like playing music. And so then I realized I couldn't quit.
You got bit by the bug.
Yeah, I got bit again.
Yep.
And so he was a really good singer and songwriter, and we put together an album, and we were on 98 local licks every year for 4 or 5 years, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
We ended up getting management. The guy that managed Days of the New and a bunch of other bands.
Wow.
He sent our demo to Corona Beer, who used it in one of their commercials.
That's awesome.
A song called Not Around Here.
Oh, you used your actual demo in there?
They came into town, and we recorded the song at, I think it was Moon Studios downtown.
Oh, wow.
So they used it in their commercial, and it was really kind of amazing, because I had thought there's no chance you can get a deal living in Sacramento, that you had to live in LA.
Right.
I was totally wrong. Next thing you know, I have this song, and they're playing it on the radio. We had like 50-some stations.
Wow.
And they put us on a tour through all these hard rock cafes. It was pretty neat.
That's awesome.
And the band ended up breaking up, like a lot of bands do. But
kind of what they do.
It was still fun.
Yeah, it's a good memories for anything, right?
Yeah.
You made some money doing it. So.
A little bit, not much.
Yeah.
Not as much as I'd like to have.
That's the problem.
With musicians.
Not as much money as there is fame.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, well, and now onto your current projects. When did you form 220?
Annabelle and I, one of the two guitar players in 220, had a blues project for about a year and a half.
Okay.
And I had joined. I had never played Neckbone.
Oh, Neckbone. Okay.
And I had never played blues. That's why I joined, because I thought playing all styles of music can only make me better.
Right.
But in my heart, I'm kind of a rock guy. I like aggressive music.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'll put together a cover band doing modern rock.
Oh, nice.
And I asked Annabelle if he'd be interested, and he said, surprisingly, yeah, let's do this. And the next thing you know, I have these wonderful friends that I was able to co-opt into the band, and that's how we ended up putting it together.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And how many years ago, I'm sorry?
3.
3 years.
Yeah, 220, and a couple different formations. We originally had this guitar player named Fausto, who's just world-class talented. Came out of the blue. I put an ad in Craigslist, and he showed up, and we were sitting there listening to him going, where has this guy been?
Blown away.
But he ended up moving to Utah.
Oh, okay.
We ended up having another guitar player named Tommy, who's now in a Red Hot Chili Peppers cover band. Okay. I can't remember their name. I'm so sorry, Tommy.
I know it too. I can't. Brain fart.
Yeah, Red Hot Cali Peppers, I think is what they're called.
Okay.
He ended up leaving to form that, and I ended up getting a friend of mine named Jeff, who I've known since 7th grade.
Wow.
And now
nice.
Jeff Whitehead's our guitar player.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
love it.
He's a neat guy.
Cool.
I'm very fortunate is that I've always been in bands with people that I liked, and we had a lot of fun. And in this band, we all just love each other's company.
Just it melded really well.
Yeah, we show up at rehearsal, and we smile and laugh, and we play music we like. And
And recently, you just added Samantha.
We did. We lost our former singer Jerry, who we all love dearly. He's still a very good friend of mine.
Absolutely.
He's having some health issues, so he had to step aside for a little bit. And we found this young girl who's a monster. She's been auditioning down, I guess, on The Voice. I don't know how far she's gone, but she's got an incredible voice.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
And so now we're about to do our second gig tomorrow with her.
Very cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and nothing but going up from there. So, in fact, I was going to ask you, what is the direction of the band for the future?
So, we've been always doing the modern rock thing, which is where my heart is. I love it.
Right.
But to play the clubs, you really do have to capitulate a little bit. You have to play songs that everybody's familiar with, which is okay.
Some dance tunes in, right?
Yeah, so now we have this wonderful girl singer, and it opens up an opportunity for us to do songs that are more well-known.
Yeah.
So we're adding some of those. We're adding like an Adele tune, we're adding a Go-Go's tune, and maybe even a Madonna tune if we can pull off the keyboards. But our whole thing is we're still going to rough it up because we're going to make them our rock versions of that. Which if you've seen 220, that's kind of what we do. There's a lot of older songs that we take that everybody knows, and we definitely rough them up and make them more aggressive. And so that's kind of our
everybody
niche.
loves that too. You have a fan base that just doesn't quit.
We're fortunate
awesome.
like that.
You're building a good fan base, and it takes time. But for 3 years, you've done very well.
Yeah, well, thank you.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm excited for your future. That's great.
Thank you.
Well, so how many projects are you currently in?
I'm like most musicians in town. I'm quite a few projects. I have Neckbone, which is a blues thing. We only play 4 or 5 times a year. It's a great bunch of older guys like me, and we rarely rehearse. We show up and say, okay, let's do this. Have a couple guitar players, Annabelle being one of them. They're really great, play with feel, and we lay down a groove, and everybody goes off and solos and stuff like that. So it's a fun band. And then 220 is my baby. I also have another project that I'm putting together where we're going to maybe try to compete for some corporate work and stuff like that.
Very cool.
And I also play in a Latin band called Soul Peligro.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember seeing that somewhere on your 220
Yeah,
website.
we were inducted in the Sacramento Hall of Fame 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
I can't remember. It's a neat band. I got an invitation, and there's another thing where it was this Latin music, and they sent me a CD. I put the CD in my car, and I swear my first thought was, this reminds me of like the guys down in Mexico with the big hats and the dingle balls going da 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 da. And I thought, well, I gotta try that. Okay, and it turned out to be fantastic. We get these great gigs, and
oh my God,
like I said, we got inducted into the Hall of Fame, which just took me by surprise.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and Latin music as a drummer is just incredible. You know, you don't even realize until you play it. You're like, oh my gosh, all this rhythm going on here is just incredible.
It is completely different, isn't it? There's a lot to it. So.
So
That's very
it was
cool.
a fun band. Yeah,
I bet that's very fun.
Yeah.
So that makes 4.
That's
now.
4. Yeah. Well, Soul Peligro is very. We don't play very often. We're very fortunate. The singer is very connected, and our gigs are always really good gigs. Like we have one of those festivals, a reggae festival that's coming up in September, and we're playing at that. We were invited, so that's neat. Yeah, that band only plays maybe 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh, but it's so fun.
It's great. It's great fun. Horn section. It's like a 10-person band. So.
Wow.
Awesome. Getting everybody to rehearse is like impossible. Can you rehearse Tuesday? No. Wednesday? No. Okay.
Yeah. But
2
next
weeks
year's
from
looking
now.
good. Right. Oh God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's amazing stories. Very amazing stories.
Thank you.
I love it. Just the mirrored of things that you've done and seen, and
I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Never really tried to do anything. I've just been blessed.
Just fell in the right place at the right time. Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for an absolutely wonderful interview. That's really cool. I loved getting to know you about your past and present and future, musical talents, abilities, and desires.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I thank you for doing what you do, because we musicians really greatly need people like you.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. I love it. It's my pleasure. So thanks again. I'd say let's go rock, but there's nothing to go rock to. So we will be rocking.
I guess we're in a park. We'll have to throw a frisbee or something.
Yeah, we'll do something. We'll find a way to rock. All right. Thanks again, Curt.
My pleasure.